Good morning from the homesteading grandparents. Today is Sunday, Valentine's Day, and I would like to say it is a very cold, rainy day in Southeast Texas. So what else do you do on a cold, rainy day on a Sunday when you're bound to the house? Do you get in your kitchen and cook? That's what I do. Typically, I would be making a gumbo or a stew or chili on a day like today, but we've recently had gumbo, we recently had chili, and everybody has made, there's 5,000 recipes for gumbo out there. So I thought, people don't want to see another gumbo. One of our friends recently, and I'm going to turn this off, I have my skillet heating, I'm going to turn it off until I'm ready to put my oil in, I just wanted it kind of hot. One of our friends graciously gave us a deer this winter, and we like to stake out the hindquarters, and I like to make steak and gravy with those. So it's venison, steak, and gravy is what Nan's going to be cooking today. So what I do is Pafil cut up the steaks. As you can see, they're small pieces. You can use them for stew, you can use them for steak and gravy. Personally, I like to make the gravy with them versus a stew because what I'm going to do, it just gives it a really good flavor. I will pour my oil in the skillet and let it get real hot, and then I'm going to put my meat in there. And I want my meat, and I'm using an iron skillet because I feel like it does the best browning. So I'm going to put my meat in the skillet, and I'm going to let it get real brown, and then I'll take it out, and I'll just continue to brown the meat. And I want it to stick because it will glaze the skillet when I put my onions in, and that's what gives you your brown gravy. So y'all ready to get started? Let's go. So I don't measure anything really. I've never really measured anything unless I'm following a recipe that I'm not used to. I love to cook. To me, cooking is an art. So I find myself making all kinds of recipes. So you can see that I probably put maybe a 1/4 cup of oil, a little bit more, I don't know. But that will be good for my base, for me to get all my meat browned. But anyway, I love to cook. I like trying different things. And Pafil always loves my food. One of my challenges is cooking for a 4-year-old, 5, 6, and 9-year-old. The menu is very, very limited. Lucky for us, they like steak and gravy. They like meat and gravy, mashed potatoes. 3 of them will eat rice with their gravy. 1 loves mashed potatoes. So I have to cook mashed potatoes and rice when I do stuff like this. That's all right. We've got to feed the kids something. So I'm just going to put all my pieces of meat in there, and the skillet will heat up pretty quick because I had already had the skillet going and heating up a little. But we will get it all brown, and it'll be very good. Now, Pafil, when he's boning out a deer, because he boned out this one, he takes the hindquarters, and there are sections in the hindquarter that you separate out. And one part of it is you can either get steaks, which we call gravy steaks, or you can get a roast out of it. I prefer the steaks because I feel like I can cook the steaks better than the roast. That's just my preference. And then the other part you can do hind steaks, and you can fry those. If they're tenderized, they come out real good, real tender when you fry them. I try to not fry a whole lot anymore. I have an air fryer and I use it, but I haven't fried anything really in a while to speak of. But we're just going to continue to add all the meat. And I use this big deep skillet because when you're putting your meat in, the grease is going to splatter. And using this high one, it doesn't splatter as bad. So I won't have such a mess to clean when it's done. So we're just going to let this brown up. And I'm getting some splatters now, but it's not going to be near as bad. And I'm going to turn it up to about a medium high because I want those edges dark. It's okay. You can get them dark because you're putting them back in gravy and they'll soften back up. So it's not like they're going to be tough. So we're going to just get all those good and brown. This is a real thin gravy. It's a real thin brown gravy. If you like your gravy thicker, you can add cornstarch to yours and make it a little bit thicker. But for this particular recipe, I prefer it thinner. It's more flavorful, and the iron skillet does wonders where the flavor is concerned. So we're going to do that. We'll get it all browned up. I want it to stick to the skillet because that's going to give it all the yummy goodness it will need. And really, you know, you can use I've used any cut of meat for this. Round steak, just beef. You can use beef meat. I've done pork this way, pork steaks. It's a real simple recipe. It's really easy. It's foolproof. It should be foolproof anyway. Paul, am I missing anything where the boning out the meat is concerned? No? Okay. Paul is behind the camera today, y'all. He don't even want to say hi this morning.
It's his first show.
Yeah, Paul wanted me in the kitchen today. He likes when Nan cooks. I don't know about where y'all are, but where we are, it is supposed to get frigid cold. And we don't like frigid cold. We're in South Texas for a reason. So we're just going to let this brown up. It'll take a few minutes for each batch. This one's less meat here. It won't be so bad. I think sometimes a lot of your meat in the store, I don't know what they do to it, but sometimes it seems a little like there's water in it or something. So I typically cook it all out if I'm using beef. With this, we know where it came from. It's fresh and it won't have any water content at all. Well, we're not sure what happened. We have two cameras set up, one on me going through the steps at the skillet, and we had another one set up into the pot. I guess I broke the camera because it quit on us. So anyway, we're just going to pick up the video. Y'all won't be able to see how it finished off with me talking, but you will get the other part of it from the other camera. And again, I do want to show y'all the finished product. This is going to be meat you can cut with a fork. You don't have to use a knife and a fork. You can cut it with a fork. And I want to show that to y'all. Okay? See you soon. You know how a lot of people don't like to eat okra because it's slimy? The key with okra is you cook the slime out of it. The same is true for venison. We're going to cook the wild game flavor out. I personally like it. Any cooked anyway, but once I get the onions in and get my water in, I have the water ready to go, we're going to cook it for about 2, maybe 3 hours, and you won't even be able to tell it's venison, trust me. So what I did with the meat before I put it in the skillet, I guess I need to say that, So I seasoned it with garlic pepper. I just seasoned it with garlic pepper and let it sit for about an hour. And because of the kids, their palate is not a spicy palate. I am trying to incorporate a little bit of spice in my cooking because Phil and I like spicy food. So I try to incorporate a little bit of spice here and there. So today, and historically when I cook this, I will use good old Tony's a little bit. I will only use a little bit though, because I don't want it too spicy for the kids. And then I will use some garlic powder, and of course a little bit of salt. You probably don't have to have a lot of salt because of the garlic pepper and the Tony's both have salt content. So. Chopped up 2 small onions. See, that grease is hot, y'all. We'll take these onions and deglaze that skillet. And it's starting to stick a little bit, but that's what you want because that's where your flavor is coming from. So y'all can see the onions are browning. That's what we want. We want them nice and brown. We're going to let it go a little bit. Yum, yum, yum. And you don't want too much grease left over in there. So probably 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, whatever size pot you have. However much meat you're using, you'll have to adjust how much oil you'll use. But this is looking good. That's looking really good. And that's where your brown gravy comes from. So I will turn that fire down just a tad onto almost a medium. And just let it cook for a little bit. And then you'll have some juice at the bottom of the meat that came out of the meat. We're going to pour all that goodness back in there. Okay, so I think I'm ready to add the water. And again, I don't really measure anything. But for this much meat, I poured myself right at 6 cups. I probably won't use all of that, but let's see what we got. And as you can see, we have brown gravy. And I'm still cleaning up the bottom of the skillet from the stickiness in there. It's not dark brown like you would get a roux, dark brown, but again, the flavor is absolutely wonderful. And we're going to put our meat back in, and you can see that there's some juices that came out of the meat, so all of that's going back in there. Yum, yum, yum. We just stir that around, and we're going to get it to a good boil. So I'll turn the fire back up, and then we'll just add, and like I said, I can't get it too spicy, So I'm just going to add a little bit of Tony's and a little more garlic pepper and some garlic powder. And I'm not going to add salt yet. I want to taste what I have and see how that's going to work out for us. But you can see the gravy's nice and dark. And that's what you want. So we're going to get it to a good boil. I will put the lid on it, and it'll take probably about 3 hours. So we'll see y'all back when it's done, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so I told y'all I was going to show y'all how tender this is, just cooking it as long as I did, and I went for about 3 hours on that meat. So you just take your spoon and look at that, it just fell apart. And see how dark the gravy is? I did absolutely nothing else to it, and this is just the gravy from it, and oh my goodness, it is so good. So I'll do another one soon on something else. I'm not sure what, but I'll be back. Have a good day. Bye.